55 and round number 56, going to be super duper simple. So now all we're going to be doing is working half double crochets and half double crochet front posts, okay? And we're going to pretend that you haven't seen this and we're just going to start at the beginning, okay? So to begin, we're going to work into our corner chain space and we're going to work 3 half double crochets, right? Chain 2 and 3 half double crochets, okay? So I'm continuing with the same color and I suggest you do the same because all we're doing in these next 2 rounds is finishing off this section and creating a little bit of a border so that we can carry on to our next section. Okay, so we've worked our 3 half double crochets each side of our chain 2 and that's our new corner. Then we're going to work a half double crochet front post over our next 7 puffs, but we're going to work a half double crochet in between as well. So we'll have 7 half double crochet front posts here and we'll have 7 half double crochets. Okay, so remember in our previous round, as I was saying, you know, the way that you start and the way that you finish, you can either start with those back posts or half double crochets. So it's not going to be exactly the same on each side. All right, so, but that doesn't really matter. Our stitch count is still the same. So I'm just mentioning that because we're not really working into our previous round. We're just really rounding things off here. Okay, so we should have 7 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a half double crochet into that chain 1 space. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, half double crochet front post and then the 7 half double crochets in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and now along this section here we have 104 stitches, right? From before we had 26 times 2 double crochet back posts and then we had the double crochets were V's as well. We had 26 of those. Okay, that makes was it 26? I think it was 26, but anyway, that gives us 52 and 52 is 104. Yeah, sorry, just doing maths again. Don't worry about that. So if your stitch count is correct, you know, don't worry about me babbling on about stitches. All right, so we're working half double crochet front posts over all of our stitches. Okay, so we're just going to continue. Sorry, I'm just trying to hold up the blanket, which is sort of with my elbow, which is kind of falling down and taking the yarn along with it. Okay, so I'm not going to do much more of this with you. Okay, so you're just working half double crochet front posts over the next 104 stitches, and then you're going to repeat what we did over here. Okay, and then you're going to repeat your corners and then you're going to repeat all. That's how I write in the pattern. I say work half double crochet front post over the next 104 stitches, then you repeat this section, then you repeat your corners, and then you repeat all. And to close off, you're just going to slip stitch into your very beginning half double crochet. So if you've done a standing half double crochet, if you can do that, then you're going to slip stitch into the top of that. And if you've done a chain 2, which I normally do, you'll just slip stitch into the top of that and then fasten off. Okay, and then I shall see you at the next round, which is round number 56. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a quick squiz. So lots of background noise. Right. So see you at round number 56. Okie dokie, so we are on to round number 56, and round number 56, I think I said in the last round we're working back post stitches, but we're not, we're actually working front post stitches. So what we're going to do is find any of our corners and we're going to work into our chain 2 corner space, and we are going to be working, so I'm going to start with a chain 2 which is equal to 1 half double crochet. So the pattern is 2 half double crochets, chain 2, 2 half double crochets. And now we're going to be working a half double crochet front post over our next 138 stitches. So we had 132 stitches in our last round, right, not counting your corners, and now we've added an extra 6 from our previous corner where we had 3 half double crochets on each side of our chain 2, right? So each side will have 6 extra stitches. So we have 132 plus 6, which is 138. And the only thing I don't like about crochet is the fact that it has far too much maths. And you kind of cannot avoid it. Right, so that's pretty much it. So this is a good Netflix round. At the moment I'm sort of binge watching. I finished Suits. So I haven't watched the latest season of Suits, so I'm looking forward to that. And I've been binge watching the Gilmore Girls. Something nice and safe. I think I'm one of the only people, very few group of people, I belong to that group who have never watched Game of Thrones. So in fact, I can't say I've never watched Game of Thrones. I actually watched the first few episodes and I had a panic attack, and that was the end of it for me. I just thought, no, too much gore, too much violence, too much awful, horrible things happening, but no judgment. If you love Game of Thrones, as I know many of you do, good for you. But it's just a bit too bloodthirsty for me. Okay, so there we go, half double crochet front posts, and I shall see you at round number 57. And of course, when you finish this round, you're just going to slip stitch into your beginning stitch and fasten off. So see you at round number 57. Okay, so we are on to round number 57. Round number 57, I've changed up the color. So the color we're using now is lime. And don't get excited. Nothing fancy coming up here. Again, we are just going to create a very simple I was going to say border, but of course it's not a border. A very simple round, but we're going to be doing quite a few rounds of these, so settle in with Netflix. So we're creating this background again, you know. I'm really loving the very simple mesh and you know, our little what do they call it, not waistcoat stitch but linen stitch, and just, you know, simple stitches, and then using it as a backdrop to do a very simple design. Although this, I'm not going to do any design on here because I quite like just the very plain kind of texture. All right, so as I say, you know, we had a very busy center, a block, and if you're using this extension for any of the other blocks, so the first one was the high tea floral block, very decorative. The high tea floral throw, the extension was just, you know, design and complicated right up until the last, very last stitch. And I know a lot of people have said, oh, that just looks too difficult. And of course it's not really difficult, but you do have to keep your wits about you. And I promised myself that with this design, the hibiscus tea, sorry, I'm just trying to unwind my yarn here. With the hibiscus tea extension, I'm going to keep it nice and simple. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start round number 57 with 2 double crochets, chain 2 double crochets into our previous corner chain. All right, and now I'm not even going to be very specific, but we're going to work 68 times 2 double crochets into each side. Okay, so that means that you're going to be skipping 2 legs each time like that. Okay, so as long as you have 68 2 times double crochet for each side and then your corners, and there's no chains or anything like that in between, okay, then you're on the right track. So you just go and do that. Super simple. Okay, and I've actually even written it in the pattern like that. I've just said work 68 times 2 double crochets into each side. Okay, and obviously evenly spaced. So in this case, you know, you're skipping the 2 legs as I said before. And then when you come up to your finishing post, you just finishing post, haha. That is a post, of course. And when you come up to the finishing post, you're just going to slip stitch into your beginning chain 3, which is equal to 1 double crochet. And I shall see you at round number 58. Okay, and we're pretty much going to be doing exactly the same thing. All right, with just a slight difference is that after we've worked our corner 2 double crochets, chain 2 double crochets, we're working our next 2 double crochets into the first 2 corner double crochets, and then that's how we're going to kind of extend each round. Okay, so sorry, very boring, but at least you can watch Netflix. Okay, see you at round number 58. And very important, obviously, almost forgot, you're actually working into round number 55. Round number 55, yes. You're working into the back, so into the tops of those stitches that are peeping out. So this is round number 56, and then this is round number 55, and you're working into round number 55. And that was Roxy agreeing with me. Okay, so see you at round number 58. So I've gone on to round number 58, and as I was saying before in the previous round, we're going to be doing quite a few of these repetitive rounds where we're just working 2 double crochets between our 2 double crochets. Okay, again we're creating a background for something else that's going to come on top. Okay, so don't despair and just find something nice to watch on Netflix or, you know, any of your favorite programs, because this is easy peasy. So this is round number 57, round number 58, and then we're going to be doing round number 59, 60, 61, 62, and 63. We're going to do exactly the same, and the only difference is that you will be increasing each round by 2 times 2 double crochets. Okay, so whereas round number 58 we had 70 times 2 double crochets, not counting your corners, right? Not counting your corners. All right, and then in the next round, round number 59, you'll have 72 times 2 double crochets, and then in the next round you'll have 74 times 2 double crochets, then 76 times 2 double crochets, then 78 times 2 double crochets, and then for round number 63 you'll have 80 times 2 double crochets, and that'll be your final round. So you'll have 7 rounds in all, these 2 plus 5 more. Okay, so your next 5 rounds you're just increasing by 2 of those, one on this side, one on that side, because of course you're working into your first 2 double crochets each time from the previous corner. All right, so you carry on like that until you have 80 times 2 double crochets on each side, plus on your corners you have 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. Okay, and I shall see you at the end of round number 63. So the color I'm using is lime, and easy peasy. I'm going to see you there. Okay, I'm trying to think of something else to say. Oh yes, there was something I wanted to mention. Round number 47, if you're a little bit confused and you haven't found our the errata notes, let me first tell you that the errata notes for the Hibiscus tea extension are on the, Ravelry pattern page. So if you go to the Ravelry pattern page and of the Hibiscus tea extension, just scroll all the way down to the notes section, then scroll past all the yada yada, and you'll see there I've put errata notes, and I just drop in if there's some small little mistakes, maybe a stitch count mistake or something like that. So I've dropped for round number 47, I said we have 52 times 2 double crochets, when in fact we have 53. So clearly I cannot count. So I've changed that on the pattern. And I've added it in the errata notes there. Now, as we go along towards the end of this extension, I'm changing small little mistakes if they pop up in the pattern file, and dropping the correction in the errata notes on the Ravelry pattern page. And then when we completed the extension, where we've done our final round in the border, I will obviously you'll get the fully updated version of the file in your Ravelry library, okay? But in the meantime, just refer to the errata notes in the notes section on the Ravelry pattern page for this section. I think that's it. Okay, and then of course you can go onto the Hooks and Tails workshop, the pattern workshop group. And if you're not on there already, you'll find a very, very helpful bunch of us there ready to help you. Okay, so I shall see you at the end of round number 63. So I have gone on to round number 64, and I basically finished the entire round. I started it late, and the light was really just too bad to do a video. So, and I just carried on. I thought, oh well, it's a nice easy round, and actually pretty easy to show you guys. Okay, so round number 64, we are going to be working half double crochet front posts over 164 stitches. Okay, so basically the entire side, and our corners are chain 2, and that's how simple it is. You're going to be working these half double crochets over our previous double crochets, all right? And then remember, we had 80 times 2 double crochets, and we had 2 double crochets from our corner on this side and then on that side. Okay, so that makes it 164 stitches in all, and we're going to be working those half double crochets over all of our stitches 164 times, chain 2, and then again down our next side, and so on. Okay, and then and you're going to begin, you'll actually begin over this first double crochet from the V there. You're going to begin over that one. Okay, so here is your chain 2 from that previous round, and you're going to begin with the chain 2 front post over that very first corner double crochet, okay, of your first corner V. And then when you're coming up your finishing side, you're going to work your chain 2s and then slip stitch into the top of your double crochet front post. All right, so nice and simple, easy peasy, another Netflix round. Okay, so I shall see you at round number 65. Okay, so we are on to round number 65, and now round number 65, we're taking a little bit of a detour. Okay, so these are the 3 colors that I'm using: the stone, the pistachio, and the raspberry. But of course you can use any colors that you like from the colorway that you're using. So I'll show you what we're doing. It's an independent round. It's absolutely optional. You don't have to do it. If you just want to keep this section plain, you can just completely skip this. Okay. So now I basically just tacked them on because there is because we work these little flowers with the chain 2s after every 2 popcorns, that allows you to tack these down, you know, from your back. So use the yarn that is the same color as your background, and you can fasten them down at your 6 chain 2 spaces. Okay, so at the moment these are just floating. I've attached them like that, but later on when I'm finished, I am actually going to tack them down at those 6 strategic places so that they stay nice and flat. Okay, now as I said before, these are optional, so you don't have to do them, but I just love them to bits. Okay, so you're only going to be making 2, 4, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yes, 7. So you're only going to be making 28 of these. You can also put one in the corner here. I'm still contemplating that. So, so you might have 8 each side and not 7, but I'm still thinking about doing one in the corner here. I'm not exactly sure yet. Okay, so I'm going to quickly show you how to do those. So it's very easy peasy. All you're going to do is make a slip stitch like that, and then you're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's equal to 1 double crochet and a chain 1, and then you're going to work back into that first stitch like, whoops, I'm actually standing up while I'm doing this. Okay, so don't pull that first stitch too tight. Okay, there we go. And you're just going to work a double crochet, chain 1, and a double. I'm being very awkward about this. You can probably do a much better job than me. It's only because I'm standing, so there we go. So you see there's a little hole there. You can just hold onto your tail while you're doing this as you go around. Right, so you should have 6 double crochets and 6 chain 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. I hope I did my chain 1, and then I just slip stitch. You can slip stitch into the top of your beginning chain 3, but I'm just going to slip stitch around it. And now we're going to be making baby popcorns. Gosh, things are flying all over the place here. Oh my goodness. Yes. So now, so the way that I work this is, okay, my phone space might just suddenly give up the ghost, the memory. Okay, so I just work this through here, through the first chain 3, like that. All right, like so, and then just gently tied the 2 chains together like that. Okay, don't pull too hard, otherwise you're going to pull that chain 3 down, but just so it's secure and out of the way. And then that's basically the 2 tails that you're going to pull through your fabric, your yarn fabric, when you place your flowers. So very easy. You're just going to be working double crochets, only 4 of them for each popcorn. Okay, so not 5 double crochets, but 4 double crochets. So we've got 2, 3, 4. You're going to work 2 of those into your chain one space, one. So you're going to have 12 of these, okay? Yarn over times 1, 2, 3, so we've got 4. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. And then you're going to chain 2. All right, and now you're going to work 2 popcorns, okay, which is 4 double crochets each into each of your chain 1. So you'll have 12 and you'll have chain 2s in between. All right, so you'll have 6 chain 2s, and then to fasten off you're just going to slip stitch into the top of your first popcorn and fasten off. All right, so I shall see you in a moment. Okay, so what you'll have is this, all right, and then you'll have those, you know, once you've worked in those tails, and you'll have those 2 little tails at the back there. And now I just wanted to show you where to place it. You can actually place them anywhere, but what I've done is, and you can have as many as you like, you don't have to have the spacing that I have, but this was my spacing, so I just want to show you how. Okay, so the way that I've spaced my flowers, is that they are in line with the center sort of those little, so they're just above the center point, all right, of these sections over here. And then, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those, as you can see. So I'll just do a little run by like that. And then for the end ones, I've positioned the 2 end ones so that they are in line with this corner section over here. So I haven't put them here because then it's going to make the distance between that one and that one a bit too close. So I've positioned them so they are over here, so they're about equal distance apart, okay? But again, you know, just use your eye, and I'm not going to get too pedantic about this and count, you know, exactly where I've put it, as long as it's well, you can see what I mean, okay? All right, so just use your eye to place your flowers. All right, and then as I said, if you are going to use the flowers, then later on you can use the same color yarn as your background, and you can just tack them down. All right, you know, just use a slip stitch and work your way around from the back, obviously. Okay, so, and I'm not going to show you how to do that because, as you know, this pattern is for experienced crocheters, intermediate crocheters, and very adventurous beginners, you know. So if you have a little bit of sewing skills, then attaching your flowers will be easy as pie. All right, so and as I say, you know, you can also have one in the center. I might do that. I'm still thinking about it. So this is optional, and it's an indie round, so that's the fun part of it, is that you can play around with your flowers and position them where you like, or you don't have to have flowers at all, or you can put these flowers actually anywhere else you like. Okay, you could even do one down there. That looks quite pretty, but it's up to you. So they're just free floating flowers, trying to find a home. Okie dokie, so I shall see you next at round number 66. So we are on to round number 66, and it's a bit clangy because I have all my beautiful little stitch markers. Okay, so now something completely different. We're going to be changing up our color, and the color that I'm using now is gold, and it's one of the colors that I did have listed, but I haven't used much of it, so this is a good opportunity to make some traction with the gold. So now we are going to be working behind our round number 64. So this is round number 64 where we did our half double crochet front posts, right? And we're working into the top of the stitches from round number 63. So we're working into that round, into round number 63. All right. Okay. So now, getting a bit awkward because of course my blanket keeps on sliding off the table. So the way we're going to be counting this out is we're going to find our corner from round number 63. All right. We're going to skip the first 2 stitches. So now I'm not going to call them double crochets or half double crochets or anything because it's just the tops of the double crochets. So we're going to skip the first 2 stitches and we're going to begin. All right, so we're going to begin with a single crochet like so. Right, so we're going to skip those first 2 stitches and then we're going to make a single crochet into the next space like so. Then you're going to yarn over times 2. Sorry, almost did a yarn over times 3 there. You're going to skip 4 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to be working 2 trebles into the next space, just like that. Not 2 trebles together, just 2 trebles. Chain 2, another 2 trebles, chain 2, another 2 trebles, chain 2, and another 2 trebles. So you'll have 4 pairs of trebles. So there should be 8. Sorry about all the clanging. So, all right, so it's going to look like that. So you have 4 pairs, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then you've got 1, 2, 3 chain 2s. All right, then you're going to skip 4 stitches or 4 posts if you want to call them, or 4 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to single crochet into the next space. Yarn over twice, count 4 legs, and repeat. All right, chain 2, and again, chain 2, again. So I'm just starting this with you and then you can carry on and I'll meet you towards the end. Right, so 1, 2, 3 and 2 more. 1, 2, 3 and again. Count 4 legs, 1, 2, 3, 4, and single crochet into, sorry about the light, it's been pouring with rain all morning, so the light is bad. So now you're just going to carry on like that until on the other side you work your last single crochet into the space before your next 2 corner stitches. Okay, so we're working into round number 63. So you just carry on like that, and that's where I'm going to meet you, but on that side. See you there. Okay, so you are going to have, if all went well, you should have 20 of these sections, sort of shells. You know, I've used the spacing in between because we're actually going to be working into that spacing. So you should have 20 of those, all right? When you get, you know, to your end over here, I'm just going to pull this corner out and then show you how to do the corner. All right, so you're going to end on a single crochet. So you're going to have 20 of these. And then you're going scallop shape, we'll just say like a scallop shape, and then, or maybe more of an arch. And then you're going to have that single crochet over there just before the next 2 stitches and before you get to that chain 2 corner space. Now you're just going to yarn over times. See, so we're just going to work pretty much what we've just done, all right? And chain 2. So we're working now into that chain 2 corner space from round number 63. Right? So we're going to do the same number of trebles as we did before and the same number of chain 2. So we're going to have 4 sets of 2 trebles. Let me stop a moment and show you. Alright, so it's going to look like that. And so you're going to have 3 chain 2s. Sorry the light's so bad. I really need to speak to the weatherman. Tell him to bring us some sunshine. Alright, so you've got 2, 4, 6, 8 trebles, or 4 sets of 2 trebles, and then you've got 1, 2, 3 chain 2s. And now to start your next side, easy peasy, you just skip your first 2 stitches, single crochet into the next space, and then you're back to mimicking exactly what we did on the other side. You're going to skip 4 posts or 4 legs and then work exactly what we did before. Okay, so I really just wanted to show you how to get around the corner. And the other thing I wanted to say was one of the reasons I'm doing this in gold is because I only have a little bit of the graphite left, just enough to finish the next round, which is basically our last round. And in fact, my local yarn shop has run out of the graphite as well, because remember, we are on the most southern tip of Africa, so we're far away from everything, and we rely on imports. So there is a place that imports the Stylecraft Special DK and other yarns from across the pond, and so, well, there's no graphite, so that was a bit of a bummer, as they say. So the other suggestion, or what I would have done if I had had more of the graphite, is I would have done this in the graphite and the next round as well, round number 67, which would have given it, like, you know, a thicker, which is what I was hoping for, lacier border in one color. Okay, but now I'm kind of sort of obligated to use the colors that I've got, seeing as I can't get the graphite and I can't find any other color that's quite the same. So okay, so I've shown you how to go around the corner. You're just going to carry on with your 20 scallops and your single crochets, and then I'm going to meet you. So basically, when you finish off, you're going to have worked your last single crochet over here. Okay, then you'll work your corner as I just showed you, and then you're going to slip stitch into the same space as where you started this round. Okay, so you're going to skip 2 stitches and then slip stitch and fasten off. Okay, and then I shall see you. I think I'm getting my stitch. I was just gonna, for a moment I thought I might be getting my stitch rounds incorrect, but no, this is round 66. Often happens when you have an indie round. The indie round often gets like skipped over because it's an independent round and it's often just little bits and pieces, but it still is a round. Okay, so this is round 66 and I shall see you at round 67. All right, so good luck, see you there. So we are on to our final round, round number 67, and the color that I'm using is graphite. So I just started this quickly just to show you where we're going, and also to kind of reiterate again why I would have preferred to have actually done this color in the graphite. Unfortunately, I don't have any graphite left, and there's none at the local yarn shop, as I explained. But I would have preferred these two rounds to be the same color. But that's just me. Okay, so now I'm just going to frog this quickly, and then I'm going to show you where to begin. So I kind of began in an odd space because I'm really going to begin in a different space now. So what you're going to do is find your corner. So you're going to find your corner arch, and you're going to work to the right. And we're going to do a puff. So we're going to work into the same space as our last single crochet. All right, and the reason being that when we finish this round, we can just slip stitch into the top of our puff. So now what we're basically going to do is we're going to try and work a puff. I'm not doing very well at the moment to do that. It's a little bit tricky. We're going to try and work over that first single crochet. We're just going to work yarn over times 3 puff, my usual little itty bitty puffs. Okay, so I didn't do such a great job of covering covering that chain 1, but it's not a train smash. So it's a bit of an awkward join, and you don't have awkward beginning, and you don't have to begin there. You can begin, you know, where I showed you when I started the video. Okay, then you're going to chain 2, and then into the next chain 2, going to work 2 double crochets. Then you're going to chain 2, and into the next chain 2, you're going to work 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. So you know, you're welcome to finish off this throw with another, you know, if there's a border that you prefer, but this is the border that I'm using. Okay, so we've got 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets into our next chain to space. Then we're going to chain 2, we're going to skip 2 trebles, and we're going to work 2 double crochets, all right, into our next chain 2. Then we're going to chain 2, yarn over, and again we're working over that single crochet. All right, so I'm doing a little puff, but I mean, if you want to make a puff up to a yarn over times 5, then, you know, feel free. 1, 2, chain 2, yarn over, and then, you know, from here it's pretty easy peasy. In fact, it's a very, very easy round. Right, chain 2 and 2 double crochets, chain 2 into the next chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, skip over our next treble, and 1, 2, 3. Yarn over times 3, puff over our next single crochet, chain 2, skip the next 2 trebles, work into the next chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2. Well, you can see what I'm doing here. I don't have to even really explain, it's so simple. And of course it's written down in the pattern. Whoopsie. I'm just going to do 2 more double crochets. I'm actually standing while I'm doing this, so it's a bit awkward. Okay, chain 2, yarn over, and we're back to working a puff. So simple. Okay, just like that. Right, so your corner is going to look like that. Okay, I'm faffing a little bit now. And your sides are going to look like that. So you're just going to carry on like that all the way around, and then of course when you come up to your finishing post you're just going to slip stitch into the top of that puff, and then that's the end of that. But I'm going to see you right at the end of this round, okay, just to say goodbye. So see you there, round number 67. Color is graphite, and oh yes, and also I'll just do kind of a stitch count. Okay, so see you there. So we're finished with round number 67, and that's pretty much how it's going to look. So these are your corners and then the sides. So sorry about the light, but the light is just so bad, and I've had to put the lamp on, so I hope that's going to be all right. Now, I said before that round number 67 was going to be our final round, but then I discovered at my local yarn shop a color very similar to the graphite. It's a little bit light. It's also an acrylic DK yarn, but it looks a little bit more cottony, although it is 100% acrylic. It's a local brand called L Gold. So that gave me hope for another round, which is what I was hoping for initially, but I didn't want to go and use another color, and this was basically you know, the last bit of my graphite. So I would suggest that if you're going to be doing the same colorway as I am, if you're following the same colorway, that you should get 6 times 100-gram balls of the graphite, the Stylecraft Special DK graphite, and that should be sufficient. Okay, now we are going to begin in the chain 2 corner space. So let me say again that this is an optional round. You don't have to do it. If you're happy with stopping at round 67, that's fine. So we're going to start with 3 chains. So the pattern is 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets into any of your chain 2 corner spaces from the previous round. Right, like that. Then you're going to chain 2, and you're going to single crochet into your next chain 2. You're going to chain 2, and then you're going to work 2 double crochets between your next 2 double crochets. All right, and then you're going to work a single crochet front post around your puff. You're going to yarn over and work 2 double crochets immediately into the next 2 double crochets. Then you're going to chain 2, 1 single crochet over your next chain 2, chain 2, and then 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets into your next chain 2, chain 2. So we're skipping over 2 double crochets and directly to our next chain 2, 1 single crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochets between our next 2 double crochets, 1 single crochet front post around our next puff, yarn over, 2 double crochets into the space between our next 2 double crochets. Right, and that's going to give you that shape. So you're going to have that shape. All right, so I'm going to do another one with you, but you can see it's like super duper simple. All right, so we got chain 2, single crochet into the next chain 2 space, chain 2, skip to the next chain 2 space, and that's the one at the top of your arch, and then you work 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, chain 2, skip to your next chain 2, 1 single crochet over that chain 2, chain 2, 2 double crochets, into your next 2 double crochets in between, yarn over, and just work a little single crochet front post. Oopsie, don't do that. Well, you can't do that. If you feel you need to just add a chain on either side of that single crochet front post, then go ahead. You know, if you're working with a very sort of stiff cotton yarn, something that doesn't have a lot of give like the acrylic yarns do. And then, okay, so I'll stop in a moment and show you. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. Right, so you're going to have that. So that's going to be our final round. Okay, right. So something else I wanted to mention is that I see some of you have on this section over here, that some of you have put little bubbles, you know, here or in the center, or you know, and I'm just saying that I think it looks amazing, and I had been thinking about that, but just keep in mind that when you look at the square from a distance, this forms a very pretty lacy border around the center part, okay? And if you're working into this area over here with some indie rounds, you're putting little bubbles or whatever, you may just break up that that line, you know, the line going around like that, that looks like a little bit like a butterfly wing. Just a heads up on that. But I mean, go ahead and do it if you want to do it. It's absolutely fine. Okay, so that is round number 68. That is really our last round. And I shall see you. Thanks very much, by the way, for joining me on this journey. And that is now officially the end of the Hibiscus Tea Floral throw, or the floral extension, the block and the extension. And I shall see you in land. Okay, so please do join our group if you haven't joined our group already. We are over at Hooks and Tails Pattern Workshop group on Facebook. And of course, our group is full of wonderful, helpful members. If you get stuck, they will definitely help you through any of the bad patches, or if there's some confusion. I will also drop any additional errata, any corrections or updates. If you go onto the Ravelry page for this pattern, I'll actually drop them at the bottom of the notes section. So if you scroll down to the notes section and you scroll through the notes, right at the end, I will have any special corrections listed there. So if you're looking for errata notes, that's where they'll be, on the Ravelry pattern page. Anything else? I'm trying to think. Please just email me if you have any concerns, or if you don't receive your patterns timeously after you've purchased them via Ravelry. It does happen. I'm not really in charge of delivering patterns once people have paid for them via PayPal. That's really up to Ravelry. But do let me know if you don't receive your pattern files. Mostly, the best thing to do is to just email downloads@ravelry.com. The other thing is also, if you are no longer on Ravelry, you can purchase these patterns on Lovecrafts as well. The other patterns. I mean, obviously you have this one. And I think that's about it. So have a wonderful summer. I know many of you are on summer, and I'm also going to have a bit of a break and do a few smaller projects until we get stuck into the next 2 throws. And until then, arrivederci and adios and goodbye. I shall see you soon.